What is up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today I wanted to talk about something that was just kind of on my mind. The reason it was on my mind was because someone actually sent me a message on Instagram, a very nice message, but a message on Instagram, and I had kind of a back and forth with this person, and then it just kind of, as I was thinking more about it, I figured, you know what, let me share my thoughts in a video. It's something that I've talked about again before on the channel. It's nothing new, right? We're talking about loose skin and how I'm able to deal with it. So this is the message that was sent to me. I cropped all of their information out because I don't want them to feel uncomfortable, but this was the message, and it says, hey man, I don't know if you're ever going to see this, and I know it's a long shot, but I've looked up to you for a couple years now. Thank you very much. It's always very weird to hear that, but thank you. And I was really looking for some advice. I lost 131 pounds at 16 years old. I was 340. I'm currently 209. So obviously incredible job. The last 4 to 5 years, I've really struggled with the loose skin that has been left behind. It's really eating away at me because I've been a gym rat for the past 6 years, and I know I've put on muscle, and I'd love to be proud of myself for it, but I feel as though the loose skin really takes away from that. I'm losing motivation. Each day I come to the gym, no matter how I feel, I love it because no matter how much I love it, because I feel like it doesn't matter how hard I work, how hard I train, how good I eat. It's the one thing I dislike the most about myself, and I know there's nothing I can do to fix it besides surgery, which is very expensive. It is. I'd just like some advice on how to learn to love it and be proud of it like you are. You're an inspiration to all of us former fat kids, man. And so first off, again, I went back and forth with this person. I'm not going to share all the messages, but we went back and forth and talked about it. And so I'll share kind of what I said there, and then I'll go a little bit more in depth. So the first thing is, I just want to make it clear, like, I am a human being that has, I have good days and I have bad days. So I think it's really important to share when you have a bad day, or at least just not only share the highlights, right? And so I absolutely have days where I don't love my body or my skin or stuff like that. Like, that is, I hope that's not a surprise to anybody, but I don't know, maybe it is, and maybe that's my fault for not being more open about that. But like, yeah, there are days when I'm like, man, it'd be nice to not have this. So I am, I don't want this to ever come off as like, I've been able to accept it, so you should be able to too. I understand it's hard to accept. I am not living in a fantasy land that I think everyone should, rainbows and gumdrops and butterflies, and everyone should be happy all the time, and you shouldn't have any issues with it. It is absolutely something that is hard to deal with, okay? Like, that is without a doubt. But what I kind of messaged this person, and the back and forth that we had was, I asked them, the first question obviously I said thank you, but then I asked them, is there anything else that you're doing with your body? Anything that you're proud of? Any endeavors, fitness endeavors that you are undertaking? And they responded, yeah, I'm playing, I think it was like soccer and something else. And so then I was like, you probably understand where I'm going with this, right? But I said, you should always kind of look at your body and be proud of the things that you're able to do now. And the reason that was even on my mind was this morning, because I was messaging this person this morning. Early this morning, I woke up and I went on a run, a 10K, 6.2 miles. It was actually 6.4. It doesn't matter. And so, but with me, running is always going to be something that I am very thankful that I am able to do, because growing up in middle school and in high school, I grew up in, the United States of America, and we do this thing called the mile, and we would do it almost every single week, and almost every single week I would dread it because I hated it. I was never good at it. I couldn't even finish it in less than 20 minutes. Like, it was very, very difficult for me, and it was this huge pain point for most of, my adolescence, right? I was always dreading this thing. I couldn't even run a single lap, and that meant, a quarter mile. 4 laps was a mile. I couldn't even run a single quarter mile. And so I always, this was a huge pain point for me. And now I am able to go on a run and run, I don't know, whatever 6 times 4 is. I'm not going to try and do the math, but I can do that without stopping. And it's not even that difficult. I'm not at the end of it feeling like, oh my God, that was the hardest thing I've ever done. I've done much longer runs, right? And so it's things like that I always look at, and I try and reframe it instead of, my body is so gross and I don't love how it looks. Instead, I just try and think of, I am very proud of what I'm able to do. And another big part of it is that, like, how my body looks, I don't put much stock in that. Like, it's not something I think about much, which might sound weird because I do post a lot of pictures of myself, but like, I am not like in the mirror checking like, how does my delts look? How does my chest look today? How is my, like, that's just not something that I'm doing. It's not something that I don't want to say I don't care about it, but it's not something that I am focused on a ton. Like for me, I am so much more thankful for what my body is able to do. And I really do feel like that has helped me, quote unquote, accept the loose skin. Now, with that being said, I do want to make it very clear that everyone is going to have different levels of loose skin. And I've always felt that I am pretty lucky with the way that my loose skin is. There are many ways that I can, quote unquote, hide it or deal with it, right? Like when I go on a run, I always wear compression. I'll have compression unders, whether that's like full tights or if it's just half tights. I'll have a compression shirt, and that makes it so I can run and it's not uncomfortable, because that is a truth of loose skin. It's not just that it might look weird or gross depending on who you are. It's also very uncomfortable if you are active, if you're going on a run, if you're doing jump rope, if you're doing double unders, you're doing CrossFit, anything that requires you to move quickly. It hinders you, right? It absolutely makes that stuff harder. And so wearing the compression for me has made it easier. And so like I have also found these little, I guess you could call them like tricks that help me live with it and be able to do the things that I want to do. And so compression is one of those things that really helps me. But on top of that, I understand that like where I carry the loose skin, I'm very lucky, I guess is the term. I was very lucky with the way that it's panned out, because I can wear a short sleeve t-shirt. No one would really notice. I can wear even a tank top. No one's really going to notice unless they're, someone that has had loose skin or has loose skin themselves, because when you have it, you can suss it out from people, right? I know that I can. And it's not like a judgmental thing. It's just I deal with it every day, so I can see when someone else has it, right? And I can even wear shorts, right? Like if they're super short, it's pretty obvious, but like I can wear regular length shorts without it being an issue. But there are tons of people that they have so much loose skin that even on their arms, it's like an issue. So they're not even really comfortable wearing short sleeve shirts, or definitely not tank tops, right? They feel like they have to wear long sleeve shirts and long leggings. Women, this is who struggles with it the most, because they feel uncomfortable. And that, like if I was dealing with that, I would absolutely want to be like, hey, I would like to get rid of this, because I feel like I can't wear basically anything without it being obvious, right? And so there are definitely different levels, and I always try to understand that. And another thing that I am very lucky with is that it doesn't cause me pain. I don't have any sort of like pain just related to the loose skin in day-to-day life. Now, it absolutely does. It would be painful if I decided I'm never going to wear compression again and I'm still going to run tons of miles and move a ton. I would absolutely notice it, and it would be annoying. But I have found a solution for that. Now, the next question, so that's my answer to this young man, and hopefully that he seemed to appreciate the back and forth that we had. But then going into what I know the conversation always turns into whenever I bring this up, and I mention that maybe I'm not, waking up in the morning looking at my loose skin and being like, Yahoo, like freaking Mario or something, right? Like, there's days when I'm like, yeah, I don't love it. People inevitably, the answer is, well, then you should get loose skin surgery. You should just get rid of it. You should just cut it off. And it's frustrating because it's like, it makes me feel like I cannot share anything other than positivity, complete and utter, like, yes, without people just telling me what is best for me, right? And that's really frustrating, because just because that maybe I might have bad days or there are times when I don't love it, doesn't mean that I want to go through what I would have to go through to get rid of it, which would be surgery, right? And then he mentioned in his message, it is very expensive, and that is a truth, right? It is expensive, but that's not just the thing. There's a lot of complications that can come from it, and then there are also like the healing that can come. It's a serious surgery, right? And like, yeah, I don't have a problem admitting like I don't want to go through a surgery unless it's like, for me, this is how I feel about surgery. And I'm not, again, there's no shaming. I'm not trying to shame anyone. This is just how I feel. If it's not like really necessary, I'd rather not. That's basically how I feel, right? And so for me, it does not feel necessary yet. Who knows, in the future, that might not be the case. And so maybe in the future I will do it, but it is cost prohibitive. Yes, there was a time when I was offered loose skin surgery and there were these companies that wanted to pay for it. those offers are not there anymore. Okay. Like, that's just the fact of the matter. You know, your boy ain't popping like he used to 8 years ago. Things have changed, right? And that's fine. I honestly don't have a problem with that. I'm not sure if I'd want to take the surgery for free because of how cost prohibitive it is to so many people. It would have just not felt right. I don't know. Maybe that's me being a dummy, but that's just how I feel. So I told this guy when we were talking, I did say, like, if the surgery is something that you truly want to do, and you want to do it, and you know it is cost prohibitive, if you want to start saving up for that, I feel like that's a good way for you to be like, you know what? Yeah, I don't love how I look right now. I don't love how my body, this loose skin, how it feels, but I am saving up for this surgery that will happen in 5 years or whatever, however long it's going to take you to save up for it. It is very expensive, right? There's a lot that goes into it. And so that's my answer to him, and that's how I feel about this myself. And so I don't know how helpful this might be for someone else that might be struggling with it, but that is just the truth of how I feel about it now. Like, I've had it for 10 years, right? This isn't something that I've just said, oh yeah, I love it. And it was like some sort of like, I had people that used to message me back in the day when I first made my like loose skin video that went viral that said like, oh, you just kept it because it gets you clicks on YouTube. That doesn't happen anymore. I don't get any extra clicks from it. It's just not something that I really want to do. And that's genuinely how I feel right now at this moment. Again, I've always said that might change. Who knows? Like, really. But that's how I feel right now. And I don't know. Hopefully this video was able to maybe answer some questions or just share some insight to those of you that might be wanting to lose weight and you are nervous about the loose skin. I don't have a problem when people message me and say like, I'm scared of it. It doesn't make me feel like any type of way. I understand. I think the biggest thing is that people are afraid of the unknown, and loose skin is obviously something that most people haven't dealt with, especially if you have been overweight for the majority of your life. You've never really dealt with it, and so it is something that is different. But that's how I feel about it now. And so hopefully that answered some of your questions. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.